The discovery and debate, the impossible signal. The observation post on the edge of the Verdian sector had monitored the small blue planet for nearly 2,000 cycles. Station Commander Vrel had inherited this assignment from his predecessor, who had inherited it from hers, and so on back through generations of watchers. The third planet, orbiting an unremarkable yellow star, was classified as Level 2 development, meaning its inhabitants had discovered agriculture and basic metallurgy. Nothing interesting ever happened there. That changed on rotation cycle 847 when junior analyst Cree nearly fell out of his monitoring chair. The energy readings scrolling across his display made no sense whatsoever. He checked the equipment 3 times, ran every diagnostic protocol in the manual, and even unplugged the system and restarted it. The readings remained unchanged. Cree's primary manipulator trembled as he activated the emergency communication channel. "Commander Vrel, we have a critical situation. The energy signatures from Sol 3 are impossible. They should not exist." Commander Vrel had seen many false alarms during his 40 cycles at the station. Junior analysts often panicked over equipment malfunctions or cosmic anomalies. However, something in Cree's voice made him abandon his morning meal and rush to the monitoring center. What he saw on the displays made his 3 hearts skip simultaneously. The planet that should be generating barely enough energy to power primitive forges was now radiating power, signatures comparable to a Class 5 civilization. The electromagnetic spectrum was flooded with transmissions. Thermal scans showed thousands of concentrated heat sources across the planet's surface. Most alarming were the refined metallic objects moving in orbital patterns around the planet itself. "This is impossible," Vrel whispered. "Our last confirmed observation was only 50 cycles ago. They had just begun experimenting with steam-powered machinery. How could they advance this far this quickly?" Cree pulled up historical data and ran comparison algorithms. "Commander, if these readings are accurate, this species has advanced approximately 5,000 cycles worth of normal development in less than 50 cycles. They have achieved spaceflight, nuclear energy, and digital communication networks. They should not even have electricity yet." Vrel's training took over despite his shock. "Initiate deep scan protocols across all monitoring stations in this sector. I want confirmation from multiple sources. Then prepare an emergency report for the Confederation Council. If this is real, we are dealing with something that has never happened in recorded galactic history." The emergency session, 3 rotations later, Council Chamber 7 on the capital world of Nexar Prime, hosted the largest emergency gathering in recent memory. Representatives from 18 member species filled the circular chamber, their various forms creating a mosaic of galactic diversity. Councillor Thane, a towering figure from the ancient Kelrathi species, called the session to order, with a voice that resonated through the chamber like distant thunder. "We are here to address a situation that challenges everything we understand about species development. Analyst Cree, please present your findings." Cree stepped nervously into the center of the chamber, surrounded by the most powerful beings in the Confederation. His display projectors activated, filling the air with holographic data that drew gasps and exclamations from the assembled counselors. The species in question calls themselves humans. They inhabit the 3rd planet of the Sol system in Sector Verdian 7. 50 cycles ago, they were classified as early industrial development. Today, they possess technology that rivals our own in several categories and exceeds it in others. The holograms showed images captured by long-range scanners. Massive cities covering continents, vehicles moving at incredible speeds, orbital platforms bristling with communication arrays, ships capable of traveling between planets in their system. Councillor Drex of the Quarian Collective leaned forward, his compound eyes reflecting the holographic light. "You are telling us that a primitive species jumped thousands of cycles of development in mere decades? That is biologically impossible. Species need time to adapt to new technologies safely." Cree activated another series of displays. "That is what makes this situation so dangerous. Humans did not develop safely. Our analysis of their transmissions shows they advanced through constant conflict and competition. They built weapons before they built safety protocols. They created destructive technologies before they understood the consequences." The chamber erupted in concerned chatter. Councillor Mara, whose crystalline form pulsed with agitated colors, rose to speak. "Define destructive technologies. What level of danger are we discussing?" Cree's next hologram made several councillors recoil, The humans possess thermonuclear weapons capable of rendering their entire planet uninhabitable. They developed these weapons 8 cycles after splitting the atom. They tested them on their own cities during a global conflict. Currently, they maintain arsenals containing thousands of such weapons, each one powerful enough to destroy everything within hundreds of kilometers. The silence that followed was absolute. Every species in the Confederation had horror stories from their early development, but most involved accidental disasters or isolated incidents. The idea of deliberately creating planet-killing weapons and then building thousands of them was beyond comprehension. Counselor Thane's voice carried the weight of centuries. How have they not destroyed themselves? Species that develop such weapons prematurely always face extinction. It is a universal constant. That is the mystery, Kree replied. Humans have a concept they call mutually assured destruction. They believe that if everyone has planet-killing weapons, no one will use them, because it would mean suicide. They have maintained this balance for over 50 cycles. They call it peace. The Human Problem Scientific Advisor Quellen, an elderly scholar whose species had contributed much to Confederation knowledge, activated his own displays. I have spent the past 3 rotations analyzing human cultural transmissions. What I discovered is more disturbing than their weapons. The holograms now showed scenes from human entertainment broadcasts. Massive space battles with ships trading devastating fire, ground combat with soldiers using advanced weapons, scenarios depicting galactic conquest and interstellar warfare. The humans do not just build weapons, Quellen explained. They fantasize about using them. Their entertainment industry is filled with stories about galactic conflicts. They imagine scenarios where they fight alien species for control of the galaxy. They consider such narratives exciting rather than horrifying. Counselor Mara's crystalline structure flickered with concern. Are you suggesting they are planning galactic conquest? That they see us as future enemies? Not exactly, Quellen continued. My analysis suggests something more complex. Humans view conflict as natural and inevitable. They prepare for it constantly, not out of malicious intent, but because their entire evolutionary history involved competition and struggle. They are not evil, but they are dangerous in ways we have never encountered. The displays shifted to show human historical records, wars spanning centuries, technological advances driven by military necessity, social structures built around competition and achievement. Every aspect of human civilization seemed designed to produce innovation through conflict. Look at their space program. Quellen pointed to specific data. They reached their moon not through careful scientific exploration, but because 2 human nations were competing for dominance. They built rockets to carry weapons between continents, then used those same rockets to explore space. They do not separate civilian and military technology because they see no fundamental difference between them. Counselor Drex stood abruptly. Then the answer is obvious. We cannot allow this aggressive species to reach interstellar space. We must neutralize the threat before they spread beyond their system. A preemptive strike would be regrettable but necessary for galactic security. Several counselors voiced agreement, but Counselor Thane raised a massive hand for silence. Before we discuss military action, I want to hear from our strategic analysts. Military Governor Xandros, what is your assessment of human capabilities? A scarred veteran whose species had evolved from pack hunters stepped forward. His assessment was grim. Based on observed technology, the humans could defend their system against conventional Confederation forces. Their weapons are crude but effective. Their defenses are redundant and distributed. Most concerning is their demonstrated willingness to accept massive casualties in pursuit of victory. The chamber absorbed this information with growing dread. The Confederation maintained peacekeeping forces, but actual warfare was rare. Most conflicts were resolved through negotiation or economic pressure. The idea of fighting a species that had perfected warfare over millennia was terrifying. Xandros continued his analysis. More troubling is their rate of advancement. Every rotation cycle that passes, they become more powerful. Within 10 cycles, they will likely develop faster than light travel. Within 20 cycles, they could have colonies throughout nearby systems. If we intend to act militarily, we must do so immediately. The philosophical question elder philosopher Kern, whose species was among the Confederation's founding members, had remained silent throughout the presentations. Now his ancient voice cut through the rising panic. We are discussing the potential destruction of an entire species based on what they might do in the future. Has the Confederation fallen so far that we strike preemptively against those we fear? Counselor Drex responded defensively. We are discussing survival. These humans are advancing at an impossible rate. They possess weapons of mass destruction. Their culture glorifies conflict. Every indicator suggests they will become a threat to galactic stability. Kern's expression remained calm. I have reviewed the same data you have. I see a species that survived impossible challenges through determination and creativity. I see beings who cooperate intensely despite their competitive nature. I see potential friends, not inevitable enemies. That is naive philosophy, Drex shot back. We must deal with reality. The humans are dangerous. Kern activated his own display, showing different aspects of human culture. Yes, they have weapons and conflicts. But look at what else they have. Art that explores the deepest questions of existence. Music that expresses emotions across all spectrums. Literature that examines morality and ethics from countless perspectives. Science that seeks to understand the universe not for power, but for knowledge itself. The holograms showed human achievements that had nothing to do with warfare. Medical advances that extended life and reduced suffering. Engineering marvels that provided shelter and comfort for billions. Communication networks that connected their entire species in real time. Philosophical and ethical frameworks that constantly questioned and refined their understanding of right and wrong. Humans are contradictory, Kern acknowledged. They build weapons and hospitals with equal enthusiasm. They wage war and create peace with the same determination. They are capable of terrible violence and extraordinary compassion. This is not a flaw in their species. This is what makes them adaptable and resilient. Counselor Mara spoke thoughtfully. You suggest we should attempt contact rather than confrontation? Kern nodded slowly. I suggest we recognize that fear is making us consider actions we would normally find abhorrent. Yes, humans are dangerous, but so are we. Every species in this chamber possesses technology capable of planetary destruction. The difference is that humans developed such technology quickly rather than slowly. That makes them different, not evil. The debate continued for hours as counselors argued various perspectives. Some advocated immediate military action. Others suggested diplomatic contact. A few proposed simply monitoring the situation and hoping humans would remain in their system for several more cycles. Finally, Counselor Thane called for order. We will vote on 3 options. First, immediate military intervention to neutralize the human threat. Second, diplomatic first contact to assess their intentions directly. Third, continued monitoring with no direct action. Each counselor will cast their vote. The voting process revealed deep divisions within the Confederation. The military intervention option received support from those species who valued security above all else. The diplomatic option was favored by those who believed in the Confederation's founding principles of cooperation and understanding. The monitoring option attracted those who were simply too frightened or uncertain to commit to either course. As the votes were tallied, Analyst Kree's console began emitting urgent alerts. Commander Vrel's image appeared in emergency holographic projection. Counselors, we have a critical development. A human vessel just entered our sensor range at the edge of Confederation space. They are broadcasting greetings in what appears to be our standard communication protocols. They know we are here and they are coming to meet us. The chamber erupted in chaos. The decision had been taken out of their hands. First contact was no longer theoretical. It was happening whether they were ready or not. Counselor Thane's voice rose above the confusion. How long until they reach this system? Commander Vrel checked his readings and his expression showed pure disbelief. Based on their current velocity, approximately 6 rotation cycles. Counselors, they are traveling faster than our own ships. Whatever technology they use to get here, it exceeds our understanding of physics. The Confederation Council, which had maintained order and stability for thousands of cycles, suddenly felt very small and very unprepared. The humans were not waiting to be discovered. They had found the Confederation first, and they were coming with technology that should not exist and intentions that remained completely unknown. Counselor Thane looked around the chamber at the frightened, confused faces of representatives from 18 different worlds. Prepare for first contact protocols. Alert all defense forces to high readiness but do not engage unless directly threatened. And someone find out how they learned our language and located our capital system. We need answers before they arrive. As the counselors scrambled to prepare for the impossible, one thought echoed through every mind in the chamber. The galaxy was about to change forever, and no one knew whether humanity would be its salvation or its doom. The contact and revelation. The arrival, the human vessel emerged from faster-than-light travel at the precise coordinates that marked the boundary of Confederation-controlled space. The ship was unlike anything in the Confederation database. Its hull reflected a mixture of functional military design and aesthetic beauty that seemed uniquely human. Smooth curves blended with angular armor plating. Weapon ports were clearly visible, but positioned in ways that suggested defense rather than aggression. The entire vessel radiated power, while somehow maintaining an appearance of approachability. Captain Marcus Reeves stood on the bridge of the UES Horizon, looking at the view screen that displayed the Confederation capital world growing larger in the distance. After months of detecting alien signals and years of preparing for this moment, humanity was finally about to meet its galactic neighbors. His crew had volunteered for this mission knowing they might never return home. First contact could go 1,000 different ways, and only a handful of those ways ended well. All stations confirm ready status, reported Commander Yuki Tanaka, his second in office. Translation algorithms are running at optimal efficiency. Diplomatic packages are prepared for transfer. Defense systems are active but in passive mode. We are as ready as we will ever be. Marcus nodded and activated the communication array. This is Captain Marcus Reeves of the United Earthship Horizon, representing humanity and the planet Earth. We come in peace and friendship. We have traveled far to meet you and hope to establish positive relations between our peoples. We await your response with great anticipation. On Nexar Prime, the message was received in Council Chamber 7, where the emergency session had continued for 6 cycles straight. The counselors who had been debating human intentions now faced the reality of actual human contact. The message was analyzed by linguistics experts who confirmed that humans had somehow decoded Confederation standard language with near-perfect accuracy. Counselor Thane made the decision that would define his legacy. Open a communication channel. Let us see what these humans truly are. The view screen in the council chamber activated, showing Captain Reeves on the bridge of his ship. The human appeared remarkably similar to several Confederation species in basic body structure, though his specific features were unique. What struck the counselors immediately was his expression. There was no trace of fear or aggression. Instead, his face showed something that could only be described as genuine excitement. "Greetings, Captain Reeves," Counselor Thane began formally. "I am Counselor Thane of the Confederation of Civilized Worlds. Your arrival has been unexpected. We have many questions about your species and your intentions." Marcus smiled warmly. "I completely understand your concerns, Counselor. We have questions too. Humanity has wondered for centuries whether we were alone in the universe. Discovering that we have neighbors is the most exciting moment in our entire history. We want to learn everything about your civilizations, your cultures, your philosophies, and we want to share everything we have learned about the universe as well." The openness of his response caught the counselors off guard. They had prepared for threats, demands, or cautious negotiations. They had not prepared for enthusiastic friendliness from a species they considered potentially dangerous. Counselor Drex spoke up, his suspicion evident. "You say you come in peace, yet our observations show that your species possesses devastating weapons and a history of constant warfare. How can we trust your peaceful intentions?" Marcus's expression became more serious but remained open. "You are absolutely right to ask that question, Counselor. Humanity has fought many wars throughout our history. We have made terrible mistakes and caused tremendous suffering, but those experiences taught us the value of peace and cooperation. Our wars showed us what happens when we fail to communicate and understand each other. That is exactly why we are here now, hoping to avoid such failures with our galactic neighbors." He gestured to his crew visible on the bridge behind him. Every person on this ship volunteered knowing the risks. "We did not come with battle fleets or invasion forces. We came with one ship carrying diplomats, scientists, artists, and teachers. Our weapons are for self-defense only. Our mission is to learn and to share, not to conquer or threaten." The exchange begins. Counselor Mara's crystalline form pulsed with curious colors. "Captain Reeves, our analysis shows that your species advanced technologically at an unprecedented rate. In the time it takes most species to perfect basic metallurgy, you went from primitive tools to interstellar travel. How did you accomplish this?" Marcus considered the question carefully. Humanity developed quickly because we were forced to solve problems constantly. Our planet has challenging environments, limited resources compared to our population, and yes, competition between different human groups. These challenges pushed us to innovate rapidly. Every generation built on the discoveries of the previous generation. We learned to share knowledge across our entire species, which accelerated our progress dramatically. He pulled up a holographic display showing human technological progression. We did not advance safely or slowly. We made countless mistakes. We built dangerous technologies before we fully understood them. Many humans died because of our reckless pursuit of progress. But each failure taught us lessons that we applied to future developments. Our advancement was fast, but it was also painful. The counselors absorbed this information with mixed reactions. The honesty was refreshing, but also confirmed their fears. Humans had indeed been reckless with dangerous technologies. Elder philosopher Kern spoke for the first time. Captain Reeves, you mentioned that your wars taught you the value of peace. Yet our observations show that your species maintains massive military forces and continues to develop new weapons. This seems contradictory. Marcus nodded appreciation for the insightful question. You have identified one of the central contradictions in human nature, Elder Kern. We prepare for war precisely because we want peace. We maintain strength because we know that weakness invites aggression. We study conflict because we want to prevent it. This probably seems strange to species that developed in more stable environments. He pulled up another display showing human history. On Earth, different groups of humans competed for resources and territory for thousands of years. The groups that survived were those that could defend themselves effectively. This created a selection pressure that made us simultaneously cooperative within our groups and competitive between groups. We learned to work together intensely while also preparing for potential conflicts. Counselor Drex interrupted. So you admit that your species is inherently aggressive and competitive. This confirms that you represent a threat to galactic stability. Marcus met his gaze steadily. With respect, Counselor, I think you are misunderstanding what I am saying. Yes, humans are competitive, but we are also deeply cooperative. We form alliances with former enemies. We share resources with those in need. We sacrifice for the greater good of our species. Our competitiveness drives us to improve and innovate. Our cooperativeness allows us to build civilizations that span entire planets. He gestured to the view screen showing Earth in the distance. Our homeworld currently hosts over 12 billion humans living in relative peace. We have eliminated most diseases, ended extreme poverty, and created communication networks that connect our entire species. We achieved this not despite our competitive nature, but because of it. Competition pushed us to find better solutions, while cooperation allowed us to implement those solutions globally. The philosophical debate scientific advisor Quellen activated displays showing human entertainment and cultural products. Captain Reeves, we have analyzed your species' fictional narratives. Many of them depict galactic warfare, conquest of alien worlds, and conflicts between species. These stories suggest that humanity dreams of dominating the galaxy. How do you explain this? Marcus actually laughed, which surprised the counselors. I understand how those stories might look from the outside, but you are interpreting our fiction too literally. Humans create stories about conflict because conflict creates drama. Drama is entertaining. We do not actually want to fight galactic wars any more than we want to fight dragons or explore haunted houses. These are fantasies that allow us to explore ideas safely. He pulled up examples of human fiction showing a variety of themes. Yes, we have stories about galactic conquest, but we also have stories about peaceful cooperation with aliens, about humans learning from more advanced species, about the wonders of cosmic exploration. Our fiction explores all possibilities because imagination has no limits. The stories that become most popular are usually those where different species learn to understand and respect each other. Elder Kern's expression showed interest. So your violent fiction is not a window into your true intentions, but rather a safe way to explore dangerous concepts. Exactly, Marcus confirmed. Humans need outlets for our aggressive instincts. Fiction, sports, and competitive games allow us to satisfy those instincts without actually harming anyone. A human who watches a movie about space battles is not planning to start a war. They are enjoying the thrill of fictional conflict from the safety of their home. It is the same reason we enjoy stories about danger and adventure, even though most humans prefer safe, comfortable lives. Counselor Mara spoke thoughtfully. This suggests a level of self-awareness about your own nature that we did not anticipate. You recognize your aggressive tendencies and create cultural mechanisms to manage them safely. Marcus nodded vigorously. Absolutely. Humans have spent thousands of years studying ourselves, trying to understand our own psychology and behavior. We know we have dangerous instincts. We know we are capable of terrible violence. That knowledge makes us work harder to create systems and cultures that channel those instincts productively. We are not perfect, but we are constantly trying to improve. The Offer military governor Xandros, who had been silent throughout the exchange, finally spoke. Captain Reeves, you have explained your species' nature and intentions, but words are easy. What concrete proposals do you offer to demonstrate your peaceful intentions? Marcus's expression brightened with enthusiasm. I am glad you asked, Governor. We come with several specific proposals. First, we want to establish a permanent diplomatic presence here on Nexar Prime. We want regular exchanges of ambassadors, scholars, artists, and scientists between our worlds. We want to learn your languages, understand your cultures, and share ours with you. He activated a new display showing detailed technical specifications. Second, we want to share our technology openly with the Confederation. We have developed fusion power systems, medical treatments, agricultural techniques, and manufacturing processes that might benefit your civilizations. We do not ask for payment or exclusive rights. We offer these technologies freely because we believe that rising tides lift all boats. When everyone prospers, everyone benefits. The counselors exchanged shocked glances. Technology sharing was typically a carefully negotiated process involving decades of legal frameworks and security agreements. Humans were offering to give away their most advanced developments immediately. Third, Marcus continued, we want to participate in joint exploration missions. The universe is vast and full of wonders. We could discover so much more by working together than by exploring separately. We have designs for improved faster-than-light drives that could make interstellar travel easier for all species. We would love to collaborate on pushing the boundaries of known space. Counselor Drex's suspicion remained evident. And what do you want in return for these generous offers? No species gives away such valuable assets without expecting something back. Marcus met his gaze honestly. We want friendship, Counselor. We want to be part of the galactic community. We want to learn from species that developed differently than we did. We want access to your accumulated knowledge, your philosophical insights, your artistic achievements. We want partners for exploration and discovery. We want to not be alone in the universe. He paused before continuing. Humanity spent our entire existence thinking we were the only intelligent species in the cosmos. That was a lonely and frightening perspective. Now we discover we have neighbors, potentially friends, people to share the universe with. That is worth more than any material resource. We offer technology freely because we want to build relationships based on mutual benefit and trust. Decision Point Elder Philosopher Kern stood slowly, his ancient frame showing the weight of centuries. Captain Reeves, your words are compelling, but the Confederation Council needs time to consider your proposals carefully. We are dealing with unprecedented circumstances. We need to consult with our constituent species and analyze the implications of accepting your offers. Marcus nodded understanding. Of course, Elder Kern. We do not expect immediate decisions on matters this important. Take all the time you need. We will remain at these coordinates and await your response. We are patient and willing to prove our intentions through actions rather than just words. Counselor Thane spoke formally. Captain Reeves, the Confederation Council will adjourn to discuss your proposals. We will reconvene and provide our response within 10 rotation cycles. In the meantime, you and your crew are invited to visit Nexar Prime as guests. We can arrange accommodations and provide opportunities for informal cultural exchange while formal negotiations proceed. Marcus's face lit up with genuine joy. Counselor Thane, we would be honored to accept your invitation. Thank you for this opportunity. We promise to be respectful guests and hope to learn much about your civilizations during our stay. The communication channel closed, and the council chamber erupted in intense debate. Counselor Drex immediately began arguing against accepting human proposals. They are too eager, too open. No species shares technology this freely without hidden motives. This is obviously manipulation designed to lower our defenses before they strike, Counselor Mara countered thoughtfully. Or perhaps they are genuinely what they appear to be, a young species excited to discover they are not alone. A civilization offering friendship because they value connection over conquest. Military Governor Xandros provided tactical analysis. If they intended hostile action, arriving with a single ship makes no strategic sense. They could have built a battle fleet in the time it took them to reach our space. The fact that they came with diplomats instead of warriors suggests their stated intentions are genuine. Scientific advisor Quellen added his perspective. I have analyzed Captain Reeves's physiological responses during the conversation. His species apparently displays emotions through facial expressions and body language. Every indicator suggests he was being completely honest. There was no deception in his words or manner. Elder Kern spoke with the authority of centuries. We face a choice that will define the Confederation's future. We can embrace these humans and potentially gain powerful allies who bring new perspectives and capabilities. Or we can reject them out of fear and potentially create the very enemy we are trying to avoid. Fear-based decisions rarely lead to positive outcomes. Counselor Thane listened to all perspectives before speaking. The humans have placed themselves at our mercy by coming here alone. They have shown trust by offering their technology openly. They have demonstrated respect by accepting our need for deliberation. These are not the actions of a species planning conquest. These are the actions of potential friends who want to be welcomed into the galactic community. He looked around the chamber at the assembled representatives. I propose we accept their offer of cultural exchange while we analyze their technological proposals. Let us get to know these humans as individuals rather than as abstract threats. Let us see if their actions match their words. Then we can make informed decisions about long-term cooperation. The vote was not unanimous, but a clear majority supported Counselor Thane's proposal. The Confederation would cautiously open its doors to humanity and see what happened next. The beginning of change, 3 rotation cycles later, Captain Marcus Reeves and a delegation of 20 humans walked through the grand halls of the Confederation headquarters on Nexar Prime. They were accompanied by guards and observers, but also by genuinely curious aliens who wanted to meet the impossible species that had arrived from beyond known space. Dr. Sarah Chen, the Horizon's chief scientist, spoke quietly to Marcus as they walked. This is really happening. We are actually here meeting alien civilizations. Every child who ever looked at the stars and wondered if we were alone would give anything to be in our position right now. Marcus smiled at her enthusiasm. Then we had better make sure we represent humanity well. Our actions here will shape how these civilizations view our entire species for generations to come. They entered a vast cultural center where representatives from different Confederation species had prepared displays of their civilization's achievements. Art, music, scientific discoveries, philosophical texts, and historical records from dozens of different worlds created an overwhelming tapestry of galactic diversity. The humans moved through the exhibits with genuine wonder and respect. They asked thoughtful questions, made careful observations, and expressed appreciation for the achievements of species they had just met. They did not compare alien accomplishments to human achievements or suggest that their way was better. They simply absorbed and learned. Elder Kern observed the humans from a distance, watching how they interacted with Confederation members. He noticed their body language showed openness rather than dominance. Their questions demonstrated curiosity rather than judgment. Their enthusiasm appeared authentic rather than calculated. These were not conquerors evaluating targets. These were explorers delighted by discovery. A young Quarian artist nervously approached Dr. Chen to show her paintings created using bioluminescent pigments that shifted colors based on the viewer's emotional state. Sarah studied the artwork with fascination, asking detailed questions about the techniques and materials. When the artist offered to create a piece for her, Sarah's joy was so evident that several observers were moved by her reaction. Captain Reeves found himself in conversation with scientific advisor Quellen about comparative technological development. Quellen explained how Confederation species had developed advanced technologies slowly over millennia, emphasizing safety and social consensus at every stage. Marcus listened carefully before responding. That approach makes complete sense for species that developed in stable environments. Humans did not have that luxury. Our planet challenged us constantly with natural disasters, resource scarcity, and yes, conflicts between human groups. We had to innovate quickly or face extinction. Our fast development was not because we are superior. It was because we were desperate. Quellen found the honesty refreshing. You do not claim superiority despite your rapid advancement. Most young species become arrogant when they develop powerful technologies quickly. Marcus shook his head firmly. How could we claim superiority when we are surrounded by civilizations that have maintained peace and cooperation for thousands of years? We advanced quickly in technology, but you advanced far beyond us in wisdom and social harmony. We have much to learn from you about building stable, peaceful societies. That is worth more than any weapons or engines. The cultural exchange continued for days as humans and Confederation members began to understand each other beyond abstract data and fearful speculation. The humans proved to be exactly what they claimed, enthusiastic learners eager to participate in galactic civilization. Their competitive nature became evident in friendly debates and contests, but it was balanced by genuine cooperation and mutual respect. Counselor Drex, who had been among the most skeptical, found himself engaged in a chess-like strategy game with Lieutenant Commander James Park from the Horizons tactical team. The game was intensely competitive, with both players demonstrating impressive strategic thinking. When James finally won after 3 hours of play, his first action was to ask Drex to explain the brilliant move that had nearly defeated him. The display of competitive spirit combined with humble learning struck Drex as uniquely human. On the 7th rotation cycle, Counselor Thane called a final session of the Emergency Council. The formal debate had continued throughout the cultural exchange, but the mood had shifted dramatically. Representatives who had met humans personally reported back with observations that contradicted their initial fears. The impossible species was still impossible, but in ways that suggested opportunity rather than threat. Counselor Thane addressed the assembled representatives with a voice that carried both authority and warmth. We gathered here in fear, confronting the unknown. We debated whether to attack these humans before they could threaten us. Now, after meeting them and seeing how they interact with our people, I believe we were asking the wrong question. The question is not whether humans are dangerous. The question is whether we have the courage to accept that the galaxy is changing, and change is not always something to fear. He activated displays showing data compiled during the cultural exchange. Human technology does exceed ours in several areas. Their development was reckless by our standards. Their nature is competitive and sometimes aggressive. All of this is true, but they are also capable of remarkable cooperation, genuine friendship, and honest self-reflection about their own flaws. Elder Kern spoke in support. I have lived through many cycles and witnessed countless species join the Confederation. Never have I seen a species so aware of their own dangerous tendencies and so committed to managing them constructively. The humans know they are capable of violence and destruction. That knowledge makes them work harder to choose peace and cooperation. Counselor Mara added her perspective. They offer their technology freely, not because they are naive, but because they understand that mutual prosperity creates more value than competitive hoarding. They want partners, not subjects. They want to explore together, not conquer alone. These are the values upon which the Confederation was founded. The final vote was overwhelming. The Confederation would accept humanity as a provisional member species, subject to continued cultural exchange and mutual evaluation. Human technology sharing would be accepted with appropriate safety protocols and gradual implementation. Joint exploration missions would be organized to build cooperative working relationships. The galaxy would adapt to accommodate its newest and most unusual members. A new era begins. Captain Marcus Reeves stood before the full Confederation Council to receive their decision. When Counselor Thane announced that humanity would be welcomed into galactic civilization, Marcus felt emotions overwhelming his professional composure. His voice trembled slightly as he responded, "On behalf of humanity, I accept this honor with profound gratitude and humility. We promise to be worthy members of this confederation. We will share our knowledge freely, learn from your wisdom eagerly, and work alongside you to explore the wonders of the universe." We will make mistakes because that is part of human nature. But we will learn from those mistakes and strive always to improve. He looked around the chamber at the diverse species that were now humanity's galactic neighbors. For thousands of years, humans looked at the stars and wondered if anyone was out there looking back. Now we know the answer. You were here all along, building civilizations based on cooperation and mutual respect. We hope to contribute to that great project and prove that even a young, reckless species can grow into responsible members of the galactic community. Elder Kern stood and spoke a traditional blessing, used when new species joined the Confederation. May your journey among the stars be filled with wonder and discovery. May your contributions enrich all civilizations. May your flaws teach you wisdom, and may your strengths inspire others. Welcome humans to the community of thinking beings. The galaxy is larger and stranger than any species can comprehend alone. Together we will explore its mysteries and marvel at its beauty. The council chamber erupted in sounds of approval from dozens of different species, each expressing celebration in their own unique way. The humans had arrived expecting to face suspicion and challenges. Instead, they found themselves welcomed into a galactic family that was willing to accept their unusual nature and give them a chance to prove their worth. As the formal ceremony concluded, Captain Reeves reflected on the journey that had brought humanity to this moment. They had developed quickly, taken risks that terrified more cautious species, and built technologies that could destroy worlds. But they had also learned from their mistakes, recognized their own dangerous tendencies, and chosen to seek cooperation rather than conquest. The galaxy had almost attacked Earth out of fear. Instead, it had chosen hope. The Confederation and humanity both understood that this was just the beginning. There would be conflicts and misunderstandings ahead. Human competitiveness would sometimes clash with alien preferences for consensus. Human enthusiasm would sometimes overwhelm more cautious species. But there would also be breakthroughs and discoveries that neither humans nor Confederation species could have achieved alone. In orbit around Nexar Prime, the UES Horizon prepared to return to Earth with news that would transform human civilization. They were not alone in the universe. They had neighbors, friends, and now partners in the greatest adventure any species could undertake, the exploration of infinite cosmic mysteries. On Earth, billions of humans would soon learn that their reckless rush into space had not led to disaster, but to welcome. Their weapons and competitive nature had been seen as dangerous, yes, but also as part of a complex species capable of both destruction and creation. They had been judged not on what they might become at their worst, but on what they chose to be at their best. The Confederation Council had faced an impossible choice: attack the dangerous newcomers or embrace the uncertain future they represented. They had chosen hope over fear, opportunity over safety, friendship over conflict. In doing so, they had gained allies who would bring new energy, ideas, and capabilities to galactic civilization. The galaxy would never be the same. Humanity had arrived, and the impossible species that had terrified the Confederation with its rapid advancement would now work alongside ancient civilizations to build something greater than either could achieve alone. The bewildered council had wondered if they should attack Earth. In the end, they had chosen a different path, one that promised to redefine what galactic civilization could become when different species chose to trust each other despite their fears. As Captain Reeves prepared to depart Nexar Prime, Elder Kern approached him privately. The ancient philosopher's expression carried both warmth and concern. "Captain Reeves, I want you to understand something important. The Confederation chose to welcome humanity not because we think you are safe. We chose to welcome you because we believe you will challenge us to be better. Your competitive nature will push us to innovate. Your enthusiasm will remind us to appreciate discovery. Your honest self-awareness about your flaws will teach us humility. You are dangerous, yes, but you are also exactly what we need to avoid stagnation." Marcus considered these words carefully before responding. "Elder Kern, I promise that humanity will do everything possible to justify your faith in us. We will bring our best qualities and work constantly to manage our worst tendencies. We will challenge you, yes, but we will also learn from you. Together, I believe we can create something neither of us could build alone." The old philosopher smiled. "That is precisely why we chose hope over fear. Now go home, Captain Reeves. Tell your species that the galaxy welcomes them. Tell them that their journey among the stars begins not with conquest but with friendship. Tell them that the Confederation is ready to discover what humanity and our ancient civilizations can accomplish together. As the Horizon departed Nexar Prime and accelerated toward the journey home, its crew looked back at the alien world where everything had changed. They had come seeking contact and found family. They had offered friendship and received acceptance. They had proven that even the most unlikely species could find their place among the stars. Behind them, the Confederation began adapting to accommodate its newest and most unusual members. Protocols were updated, facilities modified, and minds opened to new possibilities. The galaxy had been bewildered by humanity's impossible arrival. Now it was ready to discover what wonders could emerge when fear was replaced by curiosity, when suspicion was overcome by trust, and when different species chose to build the future together rather than face it alone. The great adventure had only just begun.